Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this evening with a new friend of the pod, Hoodie Allen, coming on here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, my guy.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You are listening to the recording of this.
So let's
We're
talk
doing our best. I'm already noticing I'm way behind. So Lizzie, you go ahead and you get it started.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we talked about a little bit before while we were fixing our behind the scenes technical issues here, where you said, you've had this kind of different sound up until recently, and now you're back with a new single and you're going kind of like that emo rap hip hop route. So can you tell us what went into that thinking?
Well, it's interesting because I was stuck in Los Angeles for the entire pandemic. I was there to work on new music with a buddy of mine named Nick Anderson, who is the frontman for the Rex. He's a good friend of mine, and we've worked together before. And so I went to LA to work with him, got stuck there because the world ended effectively,
yes.
As it did,
as it went.
And he said, hey man, just stay here with me. So I ended up being his roommate for a bunch of months, and we made this album together kind of before this sound, this reemergence sort of became a thing. So I've had a lot of these songs that now feel very on trend in some ways, but I would say that where they came from was I was going through processing of a breakup, and something that Nick was very good at figuring out the musicality that should support that, and it kind of just lent itself. We weren't really thinking about anything except trying to write really great songs to kind of actualize this experience and share it, and that's just the format that it came in. I would say there's a lot of indie alternative leaning sounds, and even where it kind of is pop punkish, for the most part, there aren't the trap drums you expect. We really did keep it much more from a authentic place of what I grew up listening to, what Nick grew up listening to, as opposed to just trying to mash two things together and hope that it trends on Spotify,
No, that's very fair. I mean, so you were kind of at least ahead of the curve. You were guys, I didn't copy Travis Barker or MGK. It was all me and Nick of the Rex.
I think, at some point you can't really worry about that sort of perception. It's a pretty personal project for me. So I was just happy making it for myself. And now that I'm at the point where I'm okay, I should share this with other people, whatever meaning they assign to it or whatever comparison they give, that part is out of my control. But I do feel once you hear the entire body of it, I hope that it sounds more I hope it resonates more with people who I look to and hope to be peers with, whether it's the guys Stay Champs and Neck Deep and Water Parks and the other bands that I just admire in this genre. There's so many. I didn't do a good job of wrapping them up, but I'm hoping it favors more to that as opposed the Rex. I hope someone who listens to the Rex also enjoys this too.
I can definitely hear that symbolism and everything with there, because I listen to the Rex. I've seen the Rex live and everything. So when you're oh, I worked with him and I read the presser, I was oh, that should be a very interesting sound then.
Yeah, he's one of my closest friends. We've worked together on one song in the past on the last album I did, which again was almost the foreshadowing of maybe what this would be. So that was our raw baby demo, and now I think we've polished things together by getting to work. By him being trapped with me, essentially, we've been able to sort of create a union of what he does and what I do pretty well. So it's always fun to write with him. He's probably the hardest working dude that I know.
Now, was it a you're trapped in here and stuck with me situation, or vice versa when it came down to it? Really?
Honestly, he was just really generous, right? Because there was a point where Uber shut down and hotels shut down in Los Angeles, and it was I don't know what to do. And he's like, just live with me. So at first I didn't have a room. I was literally couch surfing there. And it felt very much like a regression to my college days. So just our schedule, we would wake up late. We would like work in his studio that's like in his backyard. And then just so much like, okay, we're not real people anymore. Cause that's kind of what happened to everyone, I think, at some point in the pandemic. And eventually I got myself a room. I upgraded to a room, and then I think I was a more welcome guest than perhaps originally.
You moved on up.
I moved on up in the ranking, yeah, for sure.
It has
no more bestie couch snuggle hangs.
Yeah, it has a very like Bo Burnham inside type feel that you're describing.
It's interesting. I didn't actually watch that full special because everyone told me that it would make me depressed, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be depressed. That might have been a bad advertising on those people's parts, because I'm pretty familiar with his brand of humor, and I've seen him live, so maybe that was more for people who were just discovering him. I don't know, but yeah, we definitely went through some things inside for sure.
It's a very like it's the sense of there are a lot of people who are probably very neurotypical that are then watching Inside and are realizing like, oh, people are having a hard time during this pandemic. And it's like, yeah, motherfucker. Like some of us are having a real rough time with ourselves. And I think if you're already in that state of mind, you can watch Inside and be like, you can't hurt me, Bo Burnham. I'm fine. I'll be okay. And then he still hurts you.
I personally love spending time by myself, or like at least historically. I'm like, when they're like, oh, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks Inside, I was like, that shouldn't be hard. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, like all good. But but that's me. I'm like a homebody, like homebody. I'm a homebody.
Either one.
I'm a homebody and a homebody.
You and Nick are home buddies.
We're home buddies, and I'm a homebody. And he's another homebody. We're two bodies together, essentially.
I keep saying to people, because like you meet new people now and they're like, how was your pandemic? And you're like, weird way of asking that. But then you have to say to people like, man, if we could just go back to like Among Us and having like a lot of spare time and like just being happy by ourselves, like that'd be cool. But then I'm like, I also want to go outside and go to shows and shit. And I don't really know which way to land on this. Like, where am I happier? In which side is the grass greener?
I'm personally happier where we're at now, being able to like go out and play shows again. Just for myself, I actually missed the Among Us wave. I don't know how, but I missed it. I was kind of busy being a degenerate poker player for most of the pandemic. Like I got really into online poker. Had to wean myself off of that to get this album out. But yeah, I think I'm happier. I think my girlfriend would also attest to me being happier back where we are now, where we can plan out the lives that we had before. So yeah, I'm gonna go. That'll be my vote.
Fair. It's look, the Among Us wave was like Pokemon Go, where it's like we were happy for like 20 minutes. We were happy for like a summer.
Had peace.
We had peace in the kingdom, and a lot of people were sus, but overall we were happy.
Lots of peeps are sus.
Yeah.
Red vented.
Now, something that's not sus are some of your tour dates that are coming up. So we're talking a little bit before too. Your Chicago date sold out. Sub T sold out. Now you're getting back into everything. How are you anticipating this is going to go, and how do you feel like adapting to being out of the kind of the touring game for so long because of the pandemic?
I feel like I have to remember the lyrics to my songs. There's going to be a learning curve there. I'm overall very excited to be back. Chicago is the first show to sell out on the tour, which I mean, I had no idea what it would be in terms of like people's interest in going back to shows, and then obviously and specifically seeing me. So it's really quite awesome to have that. And honestly, Chicago had been lacking a little bit the last couple times. So to see Chicago step it up and be the first sellout, All My Love is back in Chicago. They're now, they've always been my like number one city on Spotify also. I don't know why, but shout out to you, Chicago. You really did it this time.
You're really showing it.
Really
Come on,
showing
let's
up.
go. Yeah.
Let's go.
No more
Let's do
lagging. What
this.
is this? We're not weak like that.
No, very strong.
Go and start that pit at the Hoodie Allen concert.
Yeah.
I feel like Sub T, like that's one of the few venues that I've never been to before. So I don't actually know what it looks like, but my impression of it is that it's like really a classic sweaty venue.
Yeah. It's
Roast
also
punk venue.
upstairs. And it's
Okay.
you
Not
go
such
upstairs, there's one floor, then there's an upstairs. So it's like really interesting because you can look down from the upstairs and see everybody in like the main pit area and the stage. But there's like no barricades. I mean, I have climbed up and stage dived off that stage so many times.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be a good like let's go energy.
That's awesome. That's what I love to hear. Yeah, so we're off to a good start with Chicago, and yeah, it feels cool to like. Also, I feel like I'm so promo-y now. Like I took such a break from having to be like low ticket warning, and now I'm back on like Instagram doing shit like that. Like I feel bad, but you got to do it. You got to do it sometimes.
It's like, hey, you goofed.
You
You waited
Exactly.
too long.
This is
Yeah.
also like one of the reasons we started a podcast was so that we could get people with sold out shows in Chicago on to be like, hey, you got any press passes? So that'll be us in your emails
Oh my God.
after this recording.
That's easy to accommodate, but don't let people know the secrets. Otherwise, everyone's going to start their own press outlet for solely that purpose. Or maybe that's what's existed for the last 20 years. I don't know.
I was about to say, I
Probably.
feel like people did that, but then they realized you actually have to like work at it,
Do work.
and then said, "Not for me."
The secret is start a
"Oh,
podcast.
this is too much. I don't like it."
Imagine everybody has their own
Good
podcast
secret.
to
I
get
like
into
it.
shows.
Oh no, it's truly the worst time in the world.
That is a dark timeline.
I mean, we already have like the memes that it's like, oh, if you're a white guy and you look like this, like
dare
they
you.
run a podcast, don't talk to them, and it's
How
like,
dare you? It's true, but how dare you?
I didn't say the meme said it.
I made the meme. I am the meme. I'm like former musician.
You are the meme.
Yeah,
I'm like the meme is like you either start a cover band or start a podcast, and I did both. So, why choose one? You can have both.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I got to go see the cover band, and I'm on the pod. I'm gonna make sure 2 for 2.
gotta do double.
Nah, one's fine.
You know what?
This is the
Get
right
Brian
one.
to open for Hoodie Allen
No.
at Sub T. Cover band.
just the pod though. No, I don't want the band. I want the pod
Correct.
to open.
Correct.
Sit on stage with like just 2 chairs and 2 mics. There are plenty of podcasters doing that. People go see
I know.
it. It's a thing.
Okay, if we can get a pit started,
We make it.
like, okay, a pit to the pod,
During
a pod pit,
the pod.
Yeah,
Pit,
a pod
pit
pit.
and pod.
Yeah,
A pod pit.
a pod pit.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
I'm popping off of the pod pit. I love it.
Yeah. We just have another hype man on the side or like, let's go, guys. Let's get amped. Otherwise, Hoodie Allen will come out. The kids will do it. If you
might.
threaten them, they'll do it.
I feel like my audience is older now. I don't know if that's going to make them more likely to open up a pit or less likely, but we're going to find out.
It's gonna be a game. It's gonna be a challenge. It's for marketing and science. So we're all in this together.
Like there are people for the first time who are like, "Oh man, I'm so excited to be there with my husband," or I'm like, "I've got kids, so I can't come," and I'm like, "Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You have kids?"
I'm like, can you bring them? Like, just throw them
so
in
I
the
can
back or
put
something.
Headphones on. Yeah. What just water them and they come to the show. What are you doing?
Put them in that little baby backpack thing that
Yeah.
people have.
Yeah,
Baby Bjorn or whatever it's called.
Bjorn them up. A
Tell me
Bjorn in
that's
the
it.
pit. Okay,
Bjorn
that
up.
might be too far.
Be like, here is a small Hoodie Allen shirt. They'll grow into it. All good. It's done.
No, honestly, people who should be, I mean, this has been traditionally, at least I see it with a lot of girls, like you make small sizes, but they all want the extra large because they love to. I'm like, I don't know who to make smalls for. So the smalls are now for the babies. I think
they're for the babies.
Future baby fans. I'll make some smalls. I know normal small size humans not buying them. Babies who want to be fashionable, wearing baggy clothes, they're buying the smalls.
They're the indie kid fashion icons now, and they don't even know it.
Yeah. What's fucked up is like, then you start making larger size clothes, but it's still like a small. It's like a small, but it's baggy. And you're like, I don't know what to do now. Because do I buy the small because it's baggier, or do I buy it even baggier because that's how I like to wear my shirts? I don't know. It's fucking me up at the H&M.
At the H&M.
H&M or the ASOS, I guess. Depends on where I'm shopping. But it's like, now you got to make like a small shirt.
Okay, edgy
that is
boy.
baggy. How dare you?
That's just the wave. That's just what's popular now.
Yeah, I can attest. My 22-year-old sister only wears. She's like a size like 00, and she's like, I want a medium unisex shirt. I'm like, why? I'm like, why? I don't understand. But as we were kind of talking about before, you have these other influences that have kind of come out of the woodwork in your newer music. So we were kind of talking a little bit about Panic at the Disco off stream. So we also seen that you've collabed also with State Champs. You toured with Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, and 21 Pilots. So how did that kind of like come into play? Because again, earlier on, you were a lot more kind of like mainstream, traditional rap and pop. So to grab on and be kind of like melding in with these kind of like more pop punk emo legends, I feel like for some people there might be a little bit of a cognitive disconnect with them. Yeah,
I mean, I think the truth is it's always existed in like part of my music, just not to the level of like because like it's in my DNA as like as a fan, but it hasn't. I've always like, so the song with State Champs is called All My Friends. Like that was like 2017. Like the tour with Fall Out Boy was a summer tour where it was Fall Out Boy and Wiz Khalifa. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I am the perfect amalgamation of these two people. I would absolutely should be opening the show. And somehow, I think shout out to Pete Wentz mostly for making that happen via Twitter. So, I mean, thank you for that. And whoever on Wiz's team said, if it was Wiz or whoever, thank you, because everyone was so nice. It was a great tour. But that was 2015. So it's like, it's kind of one of these things where I've toyed the line with it and always sort of lived in the world on the outside. Like I grew up in Long Island, so like I'm growing up with like Bayside and Envy on the Coast and like all these bands that are like true scene. They are the scene. Taking Back Sunday, like they are like the originators. So to me, it's always felt very natural. But I think most people would think, oh yeah, he does like kind of poppy hip hop, which I've done a lot of. But I'm excited to kind of see what people's reactions are from a project that has like basically no rapping on it at all.
Okay. How has the reception been so far with fans with your latest single?
It's been really good, actually. I was expecting to see more people hitting me with the like, go back to this sound sort of thing, and which is sort of an impossible task. Like if someone tells you, hey, make a song, why can't you make a song that sounds like this? You're like, I don't even know I don't know what about that song you're relating to, even, because sometimes you put something out and they go, this reminds me so much of this project, and you're like, how is that a thing? So I've learned to just try to trust my gut for the most part and make things that I really like, and cross my fingers that other people like them too, just for the sake of like having a job. But
that's fair.
That's like sort of the secondary, because you can't control that. So it's like, it's been good though. I think the Wouldn't That Be Nice was like a real good precursor for what's to come. And it was like the warm up, essentially. I didn't want to throw like the obvious pop punk, emo banger at people. I wanted to sort of hit them with something that had a little bit more emotional weight to it, to bring them into like this world. Cause there's tons of fun songs on the project, and there's tons of songs that are a little bit more sad. So let's start with an in-betweener, a sad boy that's got some bass.
Sad boy bass.
Sad boy with bases only.
Sad boy with
bass
bass.
only.
Yeah. Also, people love being sad now, so the timing has actually worked out great because everyone's
It's trendy.
fucking sad.
It's
yeah.
hip.
They're like, oh, I'm so stoked to be sad. I'm like, I'm with you, bro. Let's traumatic times ahead.
I'm gonna mosh with my tears.
Let's do it.
I felt like, you know, I remember like Pete back in the day was always like, there was this sense that like Fall Out Boy and Fueled by Ramen and a lot of like members of the pop punk emo scene were always trying to branch out, especially into hip hop and into like just trying to include other genres in it. And so it's so interesting to me now that like there are way more influences of emo hip hop, of like I'm going to say non-organic instruments, like bands using like trap drums and synths in their music. And it's like completely accepted, when back in the day it was like, it felt like it was such an uphill battle to get people to listen to anything that wasn't just like blast beats and like real guitars and like actual, like, you know, not musicians. Everybody's a musician. You can write a bunch of shit on a computer and it's all good. But it's just so interesting to me that how much it's like changed with this like production sense, and like how, you know, Pete Wentz was right. Pete Wentz was right.
He's right a lot of times. He, like, you know, I don't know if he necessarily gets the credit he deserves for being kind of a, I don't know, is it too far to say visionary? Like, he has a really good intuition when it comes, whether it's like to A&Ring things, and like he finds tons of acts. And I mean, like, he was working with BB Rexa like how long ago? Like 8 years ago? Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's got a good gut, and he brought me on tour. Like, great decision.
There we go.
So
good taste.
Just
that's 2 for 2 right there.
Only good takes.
And he played Grand Theft Autumn on tour once because I bullied him into doing it. So
We
those are
love
Fantastic.
that.
Yes,
and
fantastic.
that was not on the set list. And I was like, hey, please,
Like, consider.
please, but please. They
I'm a
did it
bully
once
for
and
once.
not again. I don't think it got what they wanted. Yeah, it was like, hey man, I've been watching your show every night. Can we make this happen? Can we make this happen? Can we do this? And
See, I'm a
okay.
big advocate for bullying musicians to play the song you want, because
Yeah.
after a certain point they have to do it.
Oh yeah, I feel the peer pressure like so heavy. It like, and it's always for songs that I shouldn't be playing, where it's like, you are the only person here who wants to hear this song. Please let it go. But they don't. They really don't let it go.
Now, what
Lizzie's
is
that
that
person.
song?
There's so many of them.
It's
I-
always going to be like a random
I
one,
mean,
right?
a lot of times it's like, if I had to like, everyone's gonna have their own little favorites, but I have 2 mixtapes that predate my first Spotify release, and they're super like they're the thing that kind of allowed me to start doing this full time as a job. And they're like everything is sampled. It's like I did like a Death Cab for Cutie sample, Two Door Cinema Club sample, Marina and the Diamonds, the Black Keys. Like, we were just sampling everything and flipping it, like stuff that me and my buddy RJ were a fan of. So that album is like impossible to clear. Like, it's just
True.
It's just not possible. But still to this day, so many people are like, when is it going to be on Spotify? Will you play this song? And I'm like, where are you like, you still have SoundCloud just to listen to this project? Like, I can't be mad at that. That's pretty amazing. I'd also love to have it on Spotify, but I've cleared other samples before, and those people who clear samples for you, they do not care about you. And there's no, hey, I'm doing this for the fans, and like, hey, we're gonna deal. Like, nope. So
You think
it's tough.
that's
The inner workings of it is tough.
Do you think it's gotten easier though? With like, I mean, Lil Peep has all of his songs. I mean, obviously he's, you know, he's Lil Peep, but like with all of the artists
Rip.
now who've done all of these bigger samples, and like obviously they've all had these major influences from the emo scene and these artists. Like, I mean, I feel like Death Cab would be like, oh yeah, go ahead. Of course, their label might be like, no, we need to make money off of this. It's like, but for the fans, they keep asking for it at the shows.
Yeah, I don't know if the artists aren't really the issue. It's mostly that most artists aren't the rights holders of their music. So whether, you know, like if it's like an old soul sample or a rock sample, maybe it's different. But, you know, a lot of times it's like 10 different guys wrote the song, and there's 4 different publishing companies attached to that. So you have to get clearance from every single one of them, plus the label, and everyone wants money up front. and it becomes just like almost prohibitively expensive to do it. Obviously, in situations like I think Olivia Rodrigo paid Paramore, right, when they're like, oh, this is too close, interpolation, whatever. I mean, those things. Those get done easier when it's between major labels. I think it gets done easier. And also, I wouldn't be shocked if Paramore owned like a huge piece of that song. Like, I'm sure the economics, like, I'm sure we just don't see it, but I bet they got really compensated for it, because that's always what happens in these situations of like interpolation influence.
Well, and plus it was so early in the game, I feel, with their record label that they weren't owned at that point by any other major entity, right? I don't think they were. So they may have been able to kind of get out better with like a deal to own more of those and get like that kickback more.
Yeah, definitely possible.
I also think there's just labels that are way
now for
more.
you, are you?
Sorry, we're on a delay. We gotta do what we do. There are labels though I feel like are more accepting. Like I feel like a Fueled by Ramen is going to be like, we'd rather just share rights, because obviously we respect Olivia Rodrigo and we respect Paramore. So like, let's just make it work the best that it can for both artists. But like, you know, if you're on like a major label, they're like, no, I need all the money. This is my record label voice. It's like, no, you can't. You like, it's like the same with like Twitch, where hi everybody, where like, you know, you can't play music, otherwise you're the record labels are going to come for you. But most artists and most cool record labels understand it's for the benefit of the fans and the artists. It's not about making every little dime. It's about like sharing that with fans and artists and people who love the music, because it benefits everybody.
Absolutely. I think wrote out to people. I was like, hey, feel free to use my music, your stream, no one's going to no copyright strikes or anything like that, because I've always been a huge proponent of that. It's such a great exposure for artists. And I felt the same way with like letting people use music in YouTube videos. It's so short-sighted to take away the profit from other creators just because your song is being used for 5 seconds or a minute or whatever, when really being able to work with those people puts you in front of so many new potential fans. It's so backwards to do the opposite. Yeah, I've been full independent like my entire career.
Oh yeah.
Basically, yeah. That's sort of the it's been the business model of the control freak, I think, but it works out.
Tougher, but better. Yeah,
I mean, there's definitely positives and negatives to it, just from a workload standpoint. But I always even tell this to my friends or people who I'm sort of, I don't know, acting as pseudo mentors for, like, no matter what your situation is, if you're on a major, you're doing things independently, or you have a big management team, like, you need to care about your career more than anyone else, because you only get your one career. And other people, for other people, you are replaceable, not in like a negative sense. They obviously may love you and care about you, even if for only a moment in time. But this is your thing, and like, you have to have like an active hands-on role in it, no matter how much support you get from others. And sometimes I think when the artists who have like the greatest longevity get that, and sometimes I think other artists are unfortunately shielded from understanding the whole business by other people, and it can sometimes go the wrong way.
Yeah. Is that why? So are you in this upcoming album cycle you're on? Are you signed to anybody, or are you going
it's
full
like
independent?
The ability to make decisions for yourself, because you've sort of entrusted others to always be the one with the correct decision, as opposed to sort of being like a partner in that and understanding maybe what's best for you. And I don't know. I think that applies in all ways, though, like not just music, but I think people look at music as like a place where there's like a big power imbalance sometimes, or like people get taken advantage of just from like a lack of education on like the inner workings of it. So I don't know. I'd like to be a force for like helping other independent artists in general to make better decisions for themselves, whatever that is.
Do you feel like in the time now when there's a lot more democratization of like the process of recording, creating, promoting, like putting it out on TikTok, putting it out on the internet, do you feel like now is like a really, really good time to be an independent artist?
Yeah, I mean, TikTok is kind of a little bit of a game changer. And with anything that's so accessible and so focused around discovery and like clearly music discovery, it changes quickly. Like I could definitely see a world where, because it's the thing right now, it's hard to sustain it. Like we already see like the labels have sort of taken that space, right? But every day there's gonna, like, the great thing about it is there could be some kid who's in his bedroom who just has a really good song, and like he can really change his life overnight. Whoa,
we're getting.
I like that.
Yeah, he can really change his life though. Kind of in an instant, just because it's something he made resonated, and it is, like you said, it's a true democratization of the process, which is exciting. And I think it's exciting because people can really build off of it and build something special, and build a community quickly, like of people, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to be a local opener on these shows, or I'm going to pay to buy onto this tour. It's like, why not just make a TikTok every day showcasing your stuff? You're going to, you have the potential to reach so many more people that way. That's why I'm on it too. I was saying before we got on, it's like I just posted some silly TikTok and I was like, this one's going viral, whatever viral means for me. I was like, this one has a couple 100,000 like plays. Like what? Like I have followers in other places and I couldn't get 200,000 people to watch something in an hour anywhere else, you know? So it's just a weird place. Like I back it.
I feel like there's so many people now in like the industry who are so starting to get to the point where they're anti TikTok simply because they are, one, not going viral enough for themselves, but they are also concerned about the way that it's operating with the music industry and the way that people are getting like onto the radio play circuit. At the same time, though, I feel like there's so many new avenues for people to discover artists that they would never have just discovered or known about beforehand.
I probably have a hot take here.
We love hot takes.
I'm gonna temper it because I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but I will say, obviously, I think it's a very real situation that like certain artists feel like their music is being held hostage without virality, but people who are complaining in general about TikTok or like, I don't want to be on here doing this. This isn't like, it reeks to me of like a sense of privilege that I don't know. I can't relate to it because not only have you like probably benefited in ways that other artists haven't, like, so you don't want to keep up with the times, like that's fine. Don't keep up with the times. Don't be on TikTok if no one's forcing you to be, but like, don't complain because like the golden goose egg that you've had, whether that means like Spotify puts you on the top hits automatically, like you realize like you do, like a lot of these artists do get a lot of things that other people just can never reach, that they're just completely gatekept. Or gatekept. So I don't know. To me, it feels a little, and it's not like, oh, rich people complaining. Like, I don't care if they have money or not. It's more just like they've had access, and this is sort of an equalizer to some of that access. And I think it's threatening in a sense, you know? Mm. And I feel like that's where it comes from, like fear and like being threatened by some other people are going to get attention who normally the attention was all on me. And how do I keep it about me, you know? Am I off base? Is that crazy? I don't know.
No, I think you're pretty much like you're hitting it because I mean, I work in radio and media, and if you don't adapt to the new technology, you can't be upset when you fall behind or like you just are kind of irrelevant after a certain point. Like you can't. You're basically like hating the player and the game is what it comes down to because you don't want to play ball.
Yeah, I think like. That's well said. Like like you have to adapt. You know, if say I'm trying to think of a place that sold CDs for $15 like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, Best Buy. Like, oh man, should we feel bad for Best Buy or like that's just how it goes. Like,
I feel worse for Tower Records. I guess.
I feel bad. Like I miss those experiences, but almost out of nostalgia, not out of convenience. Like I love the tactile experience of going into a store and having that. And I had one record, only one album ever in like stores, and that was like a really big moment for me. But if I was 21 right now, would that be a moment for me? Like probably not. Like I'd be like I don't care. Why the fuck would I drive to Best Buy and to do this? Like what? You don't have seems to. Kind of annoying.
It's on the internet.
It's on my phone.
People do it for like Target limited releases. They're like, I got this Target, and I'm like, wait, just Target marketing. Still sells CDs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just marketing.
They sell vinyls now. They're a collector's location.
They're doing their thing. Yeah. Shout out to Target.
Yeah,
they need the free plug for sure.
Yeah. Shouts to Target, shouts to Amazon, shouts to all the small businesses trying to get a come
Walmart.
Shouts to Walmart.
Shouts to our oligarchs.
Dude, Costco, you know, you don't advertise, but you still are making it.
Listen, you got the $2 hot dogs.
Haters? Are we Costco haters on this pod?
Have a card.
No, I'm not a Costco hater.
No, I'm not. I love Costco. No, I keep telling Brian, I'm like, you're missing out on like the pizza. And he's like, why would I get pizza from Costco? I'm like, because it's
I have never said about Costco. I said about Aldi.
That's too far. You live in Chicago. That you cannot be eating Costco pizza.
Thank you.
I feel like
Pizza everywhere.
It's like
I'm
a
fine.
good, quick slice if I need to grab it.
Hold
That's
on,
the thing.
I got to be honest though. I live in New York, which is the real capital of pizza, as you may know. As you might
have
be
to
the
aware.
beef
move
is
on.
here.
We gotta move on.
The best place where pizza exists.
We gotta,
Oh,
no,
no.
we gotta,
Hold on.
we have like
There's a
100
point
other
here.
questions.
There's a
We're
point.
running out of time.
Sure. Okay. I'll end my phrase there. I was just gonna say.
No, I'm kidding.
Sometimes I'll still order Domino's or Papa John's either
Dude.
way, even though I've
Yes.
got all the best options in the world.
Yes.
Sometimes you want to getting Papa John's is a different type of pizza. It's not pizza. It's delivery pizza. They're built different. It's like cardboard. And you're like, I want cardboard tonight. So I'm gonna eat cardboard.
Yo, I want
You're
pizza
like,
that
I
was
just
made
feel
30
it. It's
minutes
like
ago.
a sense of comfort.
The
It was
jam.
made to order for me.
Correct.
That's a meat pizza.
Sorry to bring up such a controversial topic.
I can't believe you're gonna come to Sub T and we're gonna bring you both styles of Chicago pizza.
I've had Grimaldi's. Is that the place, or am I making up? No, that's not the name. The place. What's the place with the G?
Giordano's?
Giordano's.
Yeah.
Giordano's. I've
Yeah.
had Giordano's. It smacks. It's great.
Yeah, I love
It's-
Giordano's.
It's not New York style, so it's very different, obviously. But it's good. It's really tasty.
You need tavern style, the
Tavern
South
style
Side
is correct, yeah.
style.
I don't know if I've ever had tavern style, so I'm definitely game. It's not going to be as good as here. But
I'm hearing this.
It's okay.
And the one time that I had, I would say the one time I had traditional New York pizza was right before I got onto a train, because there's just pizza stops right above like where you get on to the train station. And I'm like, this is
Well, like Penn Station or something.
yeah. I was by Madison Square Garden at the time, so I don't remember exactly which station it was.
It's Penn Station.
Yeah. So it was just like, oh, cool, I can get a pizza here and then immediately get onto my commute. Also, the fumes and the trash just mingling in with the man asking me, what kind of slice would you like? And I said, okay, so I'm having this experience and this is New York. It's pizza and train exhaust.
You're welcome.
And you smile and say, thank you, Brian,
Thank
for the true
you.
New York experience.
Yeah, I don't know if Penn Station pizza really counts. I've definitely had it, but you know what? Still a good experience.
There was only one time I was in New York and we were like, we have to try like whatever first pizza stop it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a $3 jumbo slice. And I said, okay, let's try it. And I said, what is this? This is not it.
Look, pizza's just good. It's just good.
And we're just going to force you to have some tavern style pizza and you're going to like it legally. So
I'm exchanging press passes for pizza, just so you
Okay.
know.
we'll have to let Tori know. We'll send her this
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
and
So
be
the
like,
expectations
hey,
are
this is
there.
the deal that we made. If that's okay, I don't know, but we made the deal. There we go. Shake on it.
Just get it in there.
And everyone, that's how you make deals with media.
Brian is shaking, but he's shaking delayed, so he's shaking by himself.
Yeah, I was
Yep,
like, are
I
you
am
trying to do
alone.
the Harlem Shake there to like
Yep.
really extra it up for us?
It's my New York pizza. It's the Harlem Shake. And buy it.
Absolutely silly. So something that I found kind of interesting is that you used to work for Google before you were a full-time musician. And then you just dipped. So how did that go? How'd that happen?
I dipped so hard. I was just like, get me out of here. No, it was actually really great. That was the job I got out of college. I moved my life to the Bay, living in San Francisco, and I didn't last all that long because at the same time, like the internet was discovering my music, and I was like, oh, this seems like one of those moments in time where you have a choice.
Yeah.
And I was very grateful to everyone that worked at Google because they kind of gave me like this 6-month, what do we call it? Like hiatus. There was a better word for it, but I forgot. Where if it didn't work out, they were like, you can come back and your job is still here, which is crazy. Probably just because they paid to train me and didn't want to lose that investment.
That's very fair.
I was a big profit driver at Google. I don't know if you saw the money they made went down after I left. It was like,
Direct correlation.
People aren't searching anymore. What are we going to do to get the people back? So they kept my job on hold. Searches down and rappers in building are down at the same time. Make the graph and tell me if you see something here. But no, they were very nice to me to keep my job there. And then I just never came back because once I was able to turn my attention to music full time, things went in the positive direction.
Now, did you ever hack into the Google search to make sure that you always came up first in the early years?
I only did that so that when you typed in HOO, I came up before Hoobastank, but that's the only time that I hacked. Otherwise, I kept my hands off because I wasn't trying to get in trouble, obviously.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm more offended about that than I am about the pizza thing because Hoobastank and then Hoodie Allen in my brain. But no, also that's just alphabetical.
Check the streams, baby. Check the streams.
Look, trust me. I am ready here on the pod to make some Hoobastank Hoodie Allen beef happen just for my own, like, that's hysterical.
I don't want beef. I love Hoobastank.
Oh, they're so good. we are Hooba
You're
fans.
a Hooba stan.
We're Hooba stans.
I'm Hoobastunk. I'm Hoobastunk at this point. So don't make beef happen. Just let them know, like, if we do a tour together, like, no, they'd close. They would close the tour, but
yeah.
Just get a hold of Pete Wentz. Be like, hey Pete, I know that you would not be on this tour, but could you make this happen for me?
Because he's the great connector. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he probably is besties with them, and we just don't know.
I'm gonna find out.
Hard tweet at Pete Wentz after the stream.
I'm just gonna hard tweet at Hoobastank sup.
Suppy.
With like the middle finger emojis.
Yeah. If you bring ESC'S on the tour too, and you will have the most chaotic lineup.
I also like ESC'S. Well, I'm 33, so like these bands had some of their biggest moments when I was like 11 or 12, and that music is like the music that lives with you forever. I mean, at least for me, that was when I was like learning about so much. So like ESC'S stand for like they played across the street from me here in New York like not too long ago, but it was already sold out. I was like, damn. I would have went to see them.
And been like, hey, let me in.
Have them on your podcast. Ask them for price.
Pizza, ticket.
Let
me in.
That would have. See, I didn't know that move. I also I get too shy. I'm not really wielding my guest list verified check mark enough. So I'll get back on that. Oh, he's verified. Let's give him whatever he wants.
He's got to have it.
Thank you.
I also think you have to do it as just a Hoobastank and Hoodie Allen tour, so you can call it the Who's Who in music tour.
I'm assuming it's spelled how I think it's spelled.
Oh, it's spelled how you think it's spelled.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's good.
HOO apostrophe S.
Who's who's.
And then it's like an owl and like two owls with their eyes as the O's.
Oh no.
It writes itself.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Can we get the artwork made immediately?
Right now.
No, everybody, we're out here.
Canceling this tour. Your clip for Instagram can be Hoodie Allen cancels his tour to go on the Who's Who tour with the Hooligans Hoobastank in Hoon and Hulai. I'm out of
You're doing well till
I'm sad that the stream is not doing well right now.
Summer, leave a comment. Who is going to be there? Oh my god,
who's coming?
Who's coming?
Our friend Dugan is a graphic designer, and now I want to be like, hey man, because he left a question for you, but the stream is like struggling to work. So now I'm like, Dugan, and he would like come back like right after the stream and be like, hey, I got your tour flyer right here for you. So we'll hit him up and we'll get that as just
your friend Hoogan?
Hoogan?
Your friend Hoogan? Yeah.
He's a real hooligan.
Everybody, a hoodie and a Hooba sanctify your name tonight.
Yeah.
And tweet it out to both of us.
Yeah. Let us know.
This may be one of
That's
the
actually the
greatest
next music
moments of my
video.
entire life. I'm just so happy.
I love it.
I had a bit the other night
I
on
think
our
it's really
stream.
wild and crazy.
Do you want to say what it is, Lizzie? You don't want to repeat it?
Oh no, I was about to say it's really wild and crazy how much Hoobastank lore comes into this podcast and has
much.
over the last like 2 months.
We'll never
even
interview
know.
them. We'll say, we had to cancel.
Damn.
Damn. But what I said was that
I'll
I'm
try
really
to get them on for
glad.
you.
Oh yeah, let's go.
What I had said was that I'm really
No.
glad that Hoobastank is still around and that they're not Hoob extinct. See, I know there was delay, but the silence hurt more.
There's no,
somehow.
Oh no,
we
this
heard
is the
it.
response
No,
you're
I-
getting.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
there
guys,
wasn't that much delay.
Is the delay getting longer, guys? I'll say it again. If you guys
No.
didn't hear it, did you miss
No,
it?
bestie, it ain't.
So the delay.
Your joke is a Hoobastank.
I stand by it. I stand by my joke, and I'll say it when the tour happens.
Did it pop off? Did it do numbers? Did it do numbers or no?
Oh, I'm viral on TikTok right now. 200,000 views minimum.
Wow.
Okay, man.
That's
You know what?
crazy.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the joke and I'm gonna turn it into
Fuck.
a TikTok, and it will go. And you'll be like, I came up with that. That was me.
It's the one time Brian's gonna get on TikTok because he doesn't go on TikTok. I run our TikTok and he refuses to
I'm
get
coming
on
back.
unless I bully
I'm coming
him.
on just for this.
If you don't do it, I'm gonna do it.
Fuck.
Legally, Brian. Legally.
sucks.
It's a very niche joke, though. It's a very niche joke, I think. But
I think it stands.
I don't know if it will hit my followers and if they'll get it.
If anything, they're just gonna be like L ratio, and you'd be like, go listen
Yeah.
to the reason.
Yeah.
Fell off.
You're the
plus
one who
ratio.
gets hit with the car in this response here.
Yeah.
How do you feel
I'm
about
not a
it?
perfect person.
Hoobastank, this is my 13th reason.
Fuck, this is the greatest bit ever. Did you know that we were gonna laugh this hard when you brought up Hoobastank?
No, I was just telling you about the time that I hacked into Google to favor the algorithm in my favor. I didn't know what I was in store for.
I'm so sorry.
I'll take
We're just too big of Hooba fans. So
Hooba stands.
Hooba stands. Now I know.
yeah.
Now I know who I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Now
There
you
we
know
go.
the type.
So we're coming a little bit to the end of an hour, so we want to make sure that we leave you with plugs. Tell everybody where they can see you. Obviously not in Chicago unless they beat somebody up and take their ticket to get in.
I'm sure they can find it on StubHub or something if they
Yeah, I
want to.
guess.
Yeah. We don't
Where
support
they
that,
get it.
but I'm going on tour in August. I think we're going to add some more shows and also go to Europe later in the year. So I'll be touring a bunch. Tickets at hoodieallen.com, and there's a new album coming out, a new single coming next month from that album, and I hope you guys will like it. And whoever's listening, I hope you give it a chance.
Now, when is the album coming out?
I can't tell you that. I can't say that yet. It's a secret still. I'll let you know, though. I'll let you know. I'll either let you know in Chicago or it will be out by then.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's either or.
Either or.
Soonish.
You'll either be there or by that point, you'll know about it.
Okay. Okay, fair.
That works.
We love it.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
normally,
of course, dude.
Yeah, normally we'd stay after the stream, but because it is so rough out there, we can just close up the stream and
Yeah. Well, I will say we did have just a couple questions on our Instagram though.
Sure, hit me with it.
one's from Lizzie's brother.
Let
I think
me
this
get
is
this
unfair.
loaded up first. Yeah, one is from my brother that I mentioned to you because he was like,
yeah.
on God. I said, yep.
He said,
I
"Can
love
you
it if it
please
loads."
make a birthday cameo for me? Thank you so much."
Oh my God.
I said, "Yeah, sure."
He asks, are you still cool with, I think it's Faze?
Phase.
With
F-A-Z-E?
with FaZe.
Faze. I was like,
Faze,
oh, let's
man.
go the other way.
Well, so that kind of refers back to what I was saying earlier, because that was FaZe Clan at the time. I mean, it's a gaming company, but it was a YouTube channel, and they would post a lot of like Call of Duty related content. And a lot of people on YouTube, at least, discovered my music because I would let FaZe use it in their videos, and their videos would get like 1 million views, but like everyone would be like, what's the song? And then people would come and find me from it. But literally the first time that I went to Europe, the amount of people wearing like FaZe Clan merchandise at the show was like, so you all know me from YouTube. Cool. It was crazy. So yes, I'm still cool with a lot of the guys from that. They're really all good people.
Okay. So no beef.
Zero beef. No beef
Good.
at all. Yeah.
Now, do you have beef with anybody in general left in the world?
No, I don't. Not even Hoobastank. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I have time for it. It's too mentally exhausting and draining. And I think when you reach a place where you're like happy with yourself, you're like, I don't really know if I have time for that beef sort of stuff. That was too deep. Yeah, I don't know. I fucking hate Hoobastank. There we go. No, we'll keep it. No, I got beef with the Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do something about it, Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah.
Are you even still relevant?
Yes, they are. It's unfortunately.
Well, that was just mean. That was just mean. They're gonna hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let them know.
Are they?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll let him know. Yeah, Brian's gonna personally chat with him
Yeah,
after
let
the
him know.
stream.
I'm adding them. Be like, Foxtrot uniform, Charlie.
At them.
Come on the pod. Lizzie, do you want to ask Dugan's question too before we sign off in the chat, or do you want me to read it?
Brian, you can read it. You can read it in a fun voice.
I mean, I'm delayed, so I'll do my best. Dugan did say, I'll have to listen after the fact because of the delay in the stream, but he did say, you only have to ask, what's the coldest substance on Earth?
I can't say. I shouldn't say.
Well, there we go.
Do you know the answer?
No.
I do not know the answer, but I think Brian could know the answer.
Brian, you know the answer? Or the reference?
Blanking. My brain is also delayed. I'll put it that way.
So
That's crazy.
I did a bunch of videos with the comedy group Jake and Amir. One of those videos, I was their rap teacher, teaching them to rap. They're great videos. Definitely watch them. And in one of these videos, the main character Amir is rapping about aardvark jizz and how cold it is. So aardvark jizz is frigid gas. It's freezing. It's cold. That's the answer he wanted. Aardvark cum is the answer he wanted. I think that's a great place to. I don't think we can top that.
I think that's
absolutely not.
Yeah.
That and Hoobastank beef are probably where we can end it. Also, I believe that Hoobastank beef leads to aardvark jizz. What am I saying? Thank you all for checking out this episode of the podcast.
Excuse me?
And normally we would hang out on Twitch. There is a major delay after a major tornado in Chicago, so we will not be hanging out on Twitch, but we love you all. Please, if you are not in Chicago and you can get tickets to a Hoodie Allen show near you, go do it. Get it done. Buy pizza. Don't start a podcast. There can only be so many of those out there, and we have this one. Make sure to bring pizza for yourself and for Hoodie, or just for yourself. Either way.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. Support your local Hoobastan. Yeah. Hoodie Allen, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.